and hello, happy Halloween to all you spooky ghouls. This is the Cultured Wolverine. My name is Juno, and I am dressing up as Frank Iero for his birthday. How are we feeling today? With the holidays fast approaching, we want to talk about something that we are going to see a lot of costumes of, the funnest thing that everyone enjoys and has no strong opinions about whatsoever, Star Wars today. And to do with that, I brought with me a Star Wars expert of sorts. So say hello, Star Wars expert of sorts.
Hi. I'm a Star Wars expert. Thanks for having me.
Yeah, and what is your name?
Oh, I'm Carter.
So today we're just going to have a fun little casual chat about Star Wars because it's a thick and dense boy. It's got a lot of things going on, and it's very, very big here in Utah for some reason.
Yes. Science fiction is pretty popular in Utah.
Yeah, I mean, like, you got the science fiction authors like Brandon Sanderson and others that shall not be named. And so there's a huge geek culture here in Utah. And a big part of that is Star Wars. We have the original trilogy, we have the prequels, and we have all the stuff that Disney did. Personally, I like the prequel trilogy.
Same.
I know that is controversial to some. I mean, probably less controversial now. But to be fair, episode 3 has some of the highest drama moments and also some of the silliest moments that make me laugh.
All of which is reinforced by a very well done soundtrack.
Yeah, the soundtrack is so good. The fight choreography is amazing. And also, like, when Hayden Christensen isn't speaking, he's such a good actor.
Yeah, we kind of have to shift the blame to George for that one. I love George Lucas, but dialogue is not his strong suit.
It's okay, words hard. I mean, not all of us can be good at speaking into a microphone.
True.
So, you know a lot about the background lore about that. So, how would you say how much of that background lore of the extended Star Wars universe plays into the prequel and what we see on screen?
It kind of depends on the era, to be honest, because between the original trilogy and the prequels, there's most of the Star Wars lore is written, especially around the 90s. That's when Timothy Zahn was hired by Lucasfilms to write a continuation for the original trilogy. So some of that stuff does play in, although a lot of it does end up getting changed when the prequels came out.
I find it interesting just how much of the lore is just left open for exploration expansion. Like, there's so many fan projects on it, both from the extended universe writings, which I poked around a little bit, to just like fan-made games and costumes and just different stories that people are playing with.
Yeah, there's a lot of cool stuff out there.
Yep. Anything in particular that fascinates you?
With the extended universe?
Yes.
Let's see. Well, my favorite novel is probably Darth Plagueis by James Luceno that came out back, I think, in the mid 2010s, and it does a deep dive into Plagueis's character as well as just dark side philosophy in general, and it's a cool insight into how the Sith think.
Interesting. So you do know the legend of Darth Plagueis the Wise.
Yeah, he more than lives up to the legend until he gets electrocuted for being drunk.
What?
Oh, yeah, so they don't really talk about this in the prequels, but the way Plagueis dies is that Sidious he gets Plagueis drunk. Like, they drink like 4 bottles of wine, and Plagueis is completely wasted, right? And Palpatine decides at that point it's time to take revenge for all the bad stuff. So Palpatine electrocutes him to death while giving a speech, and
Oh,
then Plagueis dies.
that's so dramatic. And I love that.
Yeah, it's a really cool scene.
And I love how that plays into like that opera scene in episode 3, where it's just like the implication of it that Palpatine killed his master.
Yeah, it's nice.
And now that I'm thinking about it, that mirrors Vader killing Palpatine. Oh my gosh, it rhymes like poetry.
Thank you for that quote, Mr. Lucas.
Mr. Lucas, you big dream machine.
The Sith have some really cool history.
I find it interesting because looking at the Jedi, there's a lot of things about them that are both good and great, but there's also a lot about them that is just kind of toxic and problematic. Not like in a like, oh, cancel, but like I can see why they fell apart.
Yeah, so they kind of outline the history of the Jedi since, if I recall correctly, the new Sith Wars from I think it's 1000 BBY. The Jedi you see in the prequels, they are very much in a decline because of like certain laws that were passed in the Republic. They became an extension of the Republic's like judicial force, and their whole thing became serving the Republic and not following the will of the Force. And so, as a result, plus some machinations by the Baneite line of Sith, they were very much blind to what they had become and what the Sith were doing.
And, like, at least in the extended stuff that I've seen with Qui-Gon Jinn, like, that corruption stuff kind of plays into a little bit of that story.
Yeah,
If only he had lived, could have gotten more Liam Neeson on screen.
true. We did get to see him in the Kenobi show, though, for a little bit.
That is true. Speaking of the Kenobi show, Disney, under the direction of Bob Iger, who is the competently boring, dull stepdad of Disney CEOs. Most accurate way to describe that man. But Lucasfilm back in 2012, because Bob Iger's strategy, at least back in the day, is see what people like, then buy it.
Yeah, uh, yeah. Even DreamWorks in one of their movies made fun of that.
Yeah, well, DreamWorks was started on Disney hate. Like, the entire studio was started out of spite, which I personally salute. Like, hats off to you, Mr. Katzenberg. Please don't hurt me. Also, if you're hiring in the future, I'm right here, and I'm willing to sell out at any point for you.
I will write a character reference if that helps.
Thank you. But anyways, back to Disney. They bought Lucasfilm out because it was making a lot of money and like the merchandising potential was what they were interested in the most. And from that, we got 3 new movies, a role-playing cruise thing that lasts for a little bit, and a whole Star Wars theme park attraction within Disneyland and Disney World. So, my question is, how do you feel they've handled Star Wars?
Um, I think it's more 50-50 than Star Wars fans give it credit for. Obviously, the sequel trilogy was pretty problematic, mostly because they didn't have a plan going in,
Yeah.
and that really shows. Starting with, how Disney acquired Star Wars in the first place. Lucas was, he was getting sick of the harassment he was getting both from fans and a lot of people, and that's kind of what drove him to selling Star Wars to Disney. And then, Disney had they went in with no plan. They kind of ignored what Lucas suggested, and they, didn't look at any of the source material before they jumped right in and made things.
They nuked the entire extended universe and just wanted to make merch.
Yeah.
And, like, okay, so I've seen the original plans and thoughts for what they were doing with the sequel trilogy, at least what they had quote unquote planned to with Ryan Johnson. And in some ways, it's interesting because you get the first one where it's a whole look of just like, hey, we're doing episode 4 again, nostalgia. And then episode 5 was supposed to be a deconstruction of the whole nostalgia stuff. And then, I hate that there's this many of them. Episode 8 was supposed to be a deconstruction of the nostalgia. And then episode 9 was supposed to be reconstruction, taking the bits from the past that work with the things of the future and making something new. But they didn't do that plan because they got scared.
Yeah, yeah, that's definitely Disney for you. They kind of engineered the sequels for mass appeal, and for the most part, it worked. At least the box office wise.
Yeah, I remember when episode 7 came out and everyone was so hyped and we were so excited for what was to come. And yeah, now looking back on it, I'm like,
Yeah, a lot of the like arguments with what they put in the sequel trilogy, most of it just boils down to they put as much mass appeal stuff in as they could, which made the movie feel really shallow.
And, like, there were interesting ideas that could have been played with if they weren't afraid. Like, I like the idea of Rey just being related to not really anybody and just being some kid.
Yeah.
I feel like you could have done something with that. I don't know where they were going with the Kylo Ren thing, but that could have had some potential. I don't know. I've poked around the fanfics before I got scared.
Yeah, he was, if I recall correctly, Kylo Ren was inspired by the character of Jason Solo from Legends, and they kind of carry a similar arc. Although personally, I prefer the way they handled Jason. His whole thing is that he tried to be a Sith without the selfish dark side aspects of the Force, but yeah, that didn't work out for him.
I think my biggest complaint with the sequels is that they don't have a big sense of vision. Like, say what you want about the prequels, and there's a lot of goofiness in there that you could be mad about. I'm not gonna because I'm a goofy guy. But at the same time, they're cohesive. They have vision behind it. You can tell the people making this had an idea of what they wanted and they cared. And it was about making art and not just about making something for money.
Yeah, and from interviews and all indications, it seemed like a pretty like positive work environment that everyone was in, and they also put in a lot of work. I mean, yeah, there is quite a bit of CGI, but there's also like a lot of miniatures and practical effects they use to put everything together.
Yeah. Plus, like, the CGI stuff looks really good.
Yeah. Also, I think Jar Jar's pretty funny.
Oh, he's hilarious. The character actor is absolutely funny. And if you want a fun podcast recommendation to listen to after this one, the character actor for Jar Jar Binks actually did an entire interview with Dylan Marin. It's called The Redemption of Jar Jar Binks, and he goes through his entire experience from being hired to being bullied by the internet to coming back around and getting people to like him.
Yeah, it's a shame what happened to him, and even worse that well, fans didn't exactly learn their lesson, and it happened again in the Disney era.
I think a big part of that is just, again, the nostalgia because it's Star Wars. It's the thing we all grew up on and we love it so much that we hold it very close and dear to our heart. And anytime it tries to change, that kind of threatens us a little bit. I'm not sure why we're saying us. I've never threatened anyone with death.
Me neither.
Okay, anyways, that is being stricken from the record. But I think the thing is with people, they take the things that they grew up on and they hold it very close to their chest, and it's very important to them. And anytime it tries to change or somebody tries to take a different poke, it's threatening to them. Especially with the prequels, it's like, this is something that I took seriously when no one else took seriously before, and nobody else liked it, and everyone else bullied me for liking this thing, but I knew it was serious. And now that thing is trying to act silly, and it's like the call is coming from inside the house. How dare you threaten me after I fought and died for you?
Yeah, no, I can see where you're coming from.
And, like, I get that perspective. Sympathy to those people. Trust me, I am an anime fan, so I know how you feel. At the same time, grow up. Like, I'm sorry, we do not threaten and harass people.
Yeah, Moses Ingram did not deserve the harassment she got for her portrayal of I think it was the third sister from Kenobi.
I want to say yes. I
Yeah.
don't remember much of Kenobi because when I watched it, I was really sick and had just taken a bunch of cold medicine.
Uh, just watch the Anakin and Anakin Vader and Kenobi stuff.
Yeah, that's what I hear. Which there is a lot of good and interesting Star Wars stuff coming out now. I don't remember much of Kenobi. I do remember that scene because I was not high on NyQuil when I watched it.
Oh yeah.
Everything else is kind of blurry. I have that same problem with Solo. I don't remember. Everyone said it was good. I can't tell you.
Yeah, I enjoyed it. I mean, the thing at the end with Maul was a little over the top, but I enjoyed the story.
I did like Rogue One. The action scenes, especially, were really fun to me.
Yeah, that was the last time that we got a really good space battle on screen.
Yeah, no. Plus, Donnie Young is in that movie, who, for those who don't know, he's one of those kung fu actors. And me, as one of those kung fu people, I'm a huge nerd for stuff like that. And I love anytime he's on screen hitting things. It makes my heart happy.
I might be evil for this, but it did make my heart happy when Vader broke onto a ship. You know, he flicked on his red lightsaber and started hurting people. I know it's bad, but
It
it
looked
looks cool.
so cool. Like, so, oh my gosh, the way it was paced, the way it was choreographed, like, Vader felt like a proper threat. Like, that was care and vision. You could tell Star Wars nerds making this for the Star Wars nerds.
Yeah, they definitely applied the philosophy that Vader is best when he's used sparingly, and they only have him appear a couple of times, and when they do, it's to make an impact, and it works really well in the movie's favor.
Here's to hoping that Disney will learn this lesson. They will not.
They did not learn that lesson with Maul,
No, they
unfortunately.
didn't. Best when used sparingly.
Leave my red boy alone.
I mean, the actual actor was the fight choreographer for the Phantom Menace.
Yeah, Ray Park.
Yeah, which is great and it's fun, but I feel like their big villains are best when they're used in small doses.
Yeah,
Like,
they actually got Ray Park to do the choreography for the last season of Clone Wars. They had him do motion capture for that
that
final duel.
makes so much sense.
Yeah, it's really fun to just watch him in like the black like suit that they use for motion capture, and he has like a foam thing that's supposed to be a lightsaber, and it looks really silly,
Ooh.
but it looks awesome when you
He,
see it.
he moves so good. There's a reason there's several tricks at my Taekwondo studio that we just refer to as the Darth Maul,
That's awesome.
just after him.
I love Maul.
But yeah, I think it's best with Star Wars when they're expanding and they're doing something interesting and they're not trying to connect to the deep lore of anything.
Yeah.
Like, case in point, I really liked The Mandalorian season 1 when it was just some guy hanging out on the outskirts, connected to absolutely nothing else. Like, I feel the more they tried to connect him into, like, the greater big Star Wars gospel, the less excited I got about it.
Yeah, yeah, no, I get that. I think the best parts of the season were just him doing bounty hunting stuff.
Yeah.
Also, he poked people with that really cool blaster rifle that's from the holiday special.
Oh my gosh, it is.
Yeah, that's definitely where they got the design from. It's cool.
The Star Wars holiday special, that is a fever trip.
Yeah, you actually there's no like official like DVD or VHS copy of it. George Lucas and the rest of them were they hated it so much that they refused to turn it to like a DVD or anything. So all of the copies you find are actually like bootlegged copies of the holiday special.
Heck yes, 70s piracy.
Yeah, so that's how I got my bootlegged DVD of the Star Wars holiday special.
Yeah, because I saw it at like a friend's house who had Laserdisc because your boy's a hipster if you couldn't tell. So of course I know people who use stuff like Laserdisc.
That just reminds me of regular show.
Basically, basically that entire discussion about Laserdisc and like the formatting wars I've had unironically with multiple people.
Didn't they get like Keith David to play the internet
I
at one point?
I can't remember. But yes. And for those wondering formatting, objective best way to watch the original trilogy VHS.
Yeah,
I have the original VHS box set because of course I flip and do.
nice. I am unfortunately not that fancy.
It's okay. You don't have to be a hipster.
I have the widescreen editions they released back. I think it was the early aughts.
I want to say yes. I can't remember. I was too busy being a small child.
Same.
But with Star Wars, I'm excited to see, well, excited's not the right word. I'm curious to see where they're going in the future. The Acolytes came out, and I liked that they were starting to poke into some Sith philosophies and going into an era of Star Wars we haven't really seen on screen before.
Yeah, they're diving into their new era, the High Republic, which I thought was cool.
Are there any interesting eras or things that you'd like to see on screen?
I would really like to see like the Old Republic era. That's like before Darth Revan era, like specifically like the 5000 BBY to like 1000 BBY era. That would be really cool.
That timeline means nothing to me.
Oh, sorry. So, like the first bit of that is like the first Sith Empire, and by Sith I don't mean like the Sith Order. The Sith used to be a species, and they developed an interstellar empire, and they were one of the first. And they had a war with the Republic in about 5000 BBY called the Great Hyperspace War, and it was really
Okay.
cool.
That sounds so interesting.
Yeah, the main leader of the Sith, Naga Sadao, he used a force technique where he projected illusions of his fleet and made his fleet look way bigger than it actually was, and like terrified the Republic until his
Dang.
ship blew up and he lost concentration, and then it all went downhill from there.
Dang. But that sounds so much more interesting than just we're going to Casino Planet for a little bit, and then we're going to look like we're going to say something interesting, and then we're going to stop saying something interesting.
Yeah. The only issue with like showing that stuff is that it's very easy to mess up adaptations. So I think newer content in like older eras of Star Wars could really work, but they just always have to, be careful with what they're adapting.
Yeah. I have cautious optimism for Disney, partially because, again, I liked what I saw with The Acolyte. They did some interesting things with The Mandalorian. And, like, I know Disney can pull off a successful Star Wars thing before. I've
Yeah,
seen them do something similar. And, like, the last season of Clone Wars was so good.
it was.
Bad Batch, I can't remember if I watched that or not.
I really enjoyed Bad Batch.
Yeah, I want to say that I did and that I liked it. But again, cold medicine. This is the same reason why I only remember like 2 Fantastic Four movies out of the 7 or 8 that have been made.
Yeah, I just love D. Bradley Baker. He's a really talented voice actor.
Yeah. So Disney, on the phone, you have general ideas. Also, if I can make a pitch specifically to you, Bob Iger, because I know you're listening, Bob Iger, CEO of Disney, if you let me come on and you let me make an animated thing, it could be very fun to have like post Clone Wars, just clone troopers trying to navigate a system that was not designed to have them after they were done being soldiers. I could write that for you. You could also bring in a bunch of like war on terror veterans on to like consult and do stuff for that. You could get a lot of good publicity. I'm just saying, this idea is free. You know where to find me.
It would be an interesting expansion to what Bad Batch was doing.
Yeah. And like, how many people out there could relate to just being a faceless soldier coming back into a system that doesn't know what to do with you?
Not many, I imagine, and well, that's not entirely true, unfortunately.
Yeah, we love our vets. We do love our vets. Hats off to you, chaps. You deal with a lot. Anyways, there are still a couple weeks left to submit in your short story for our special audio drama extravaganza. Please keep it like 5 to 10 minutes. Please no swearing. The deadline is November 15th. So get that in to us through our email or all of our socials in the show notes and stuff. And I'm excited to see what you'll do. It's rare that life gives you an opportunity to publish your work and to be out on stage. So put yourself out on stage and get it. As for me and everybody else, happy Halloween. Don't eat too much candy, or do. I'm not the boss of you. And I don't know, anything that you want to share with the people, Carter?
Have fun and dress up as Star Wars. I like it.
Yes, dress up as a Star Wars. That's how you get all the candy. All right. I will yap at you in the after times. Later.